Well, joining us now to talk a little bit more about the important work for the Commission for Gender Equality is the Commissioner Advocate Nthabiseng Sepanya-Mogale. Thank you so much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for inviting us, Peter.
25 years ago, the CGE was set up to do important work. 25 years on, the struggle continues, I guess, but have you made progress?
Yes, Peter. Fortunately, there has been a lot of progress that has been made. The number of women that you see today in parliament, in municipalities, in provincial offices and legislatures is as a result of that gender equality milestone that we are working towards. However, there's still a lot more, as you can imagine, that still needs to be done. We need to actually focus sharply and deliberately on the issue of economic emancipation of women. We need to actually not accommodate women, because once you talk about 30%, 40%, 25% must be women, it's about accommodating. It's almost like you say, this space is not theirs. Let us open something for them just so that they come in, whereas they should actually be recognized as equal citizens of this country. But over and above that, there's a lot of work that women are doing that is not recognized, especially your social care work that is not being paid for, taking care of the aged, of children, of other people who are not able to take care of themselves, that is not recognized. And then where women are able to be brought into the economic sphere, they're brought into the lowest rung of the economic sphere, where they are in retail, in beauty industry, and in all of those industries where salaries are low. And where they come in at a higher level, unfortunately, there's still a salary disparity that women are actually faced with. So it's almost like at every turn of the economic opportunities that are supposed to be open out there to all South Africans, women are still are still being disadvantaged. Again, when you look at the environment within which we're working, there's a lot of unsafety, and it's said that women are still not being catered for. Infrastructure is still not responsive. Taxi ranks are still very far in dark places, where women have to wait for transport to go home or to go to work. It's still unsafe and informal and survival of the fittest kind of thing. Injuries at work. Women are still expected to do certain things that may actually pose them and make them to be more vulnerable than others. So there's still a lot of unresponsiveness despite all the achievements that have been achieved thus far.
So what is holding us back getting this gender equality issue sorted? I know it's a global issue, but why are we not? I mean, what you're telling me is shocking that in 2022 we're still talking about it. Why is it? What's happening? What's going wrong?
I think we must actually give ourselves credit there, in the sense that the inequality that we're seeing is actually embedded in the patriarchal society that we have inherited over the centuries. And that this patriarchy that we have inherited is in every institution and facet of our lives, be it academic, be it the church, be it leadership, everywhere. That patriarchy is embedded and has become the culture thereof. So to dismantle it will take a long time. However, there is also the resistance that we should not shy away from mentioning. There is total resistance in certain sectors to actually understand gender equality. Gender equality is in some instances seen as, what about me? It's almost like you're wanting equality, therefore you're taking something away from me. Whereas women are just saying, can I have the space that is due to me as somebody who is recognized by Section 9.3 of the Constitution, as somebody who is recognized by Section 10 of the Constitution, where we deserve human dignity, and all of those things that the Constitution has assured us. So it's seen as a versus issue rather than actually being seen as a rights issue, as an entitlement. If there's one entitlement, it is equality.
The private sector, why is it lagging behind the public sector?
The private sector is getting away with a lot of murder for a number of reasons. At face value, the silhouette that the private sector projects is very positive. They have the magazines, that Women's Month, they will take women to do their nails and spas and massages. We don't want that. That's a silhouette. We cannot go on with that. But again, the people who are supposed to monitor and punish, we need to say that, monitor and punish the private sector, are actually not doing it. Department of Labor. We, for example, in the Gender Commission, we're supposed to be more effective than we are currently. We do not have the budget to do that. Why don't we have that budget? Why are we not? Because once you have budget, you have been given the resources to go out there and ensure that your mandate is achieved. So it's more convoluted than that. You know, it's seen as something that one day we will achieve, not now. That's where the problem is.
I'm still trying to understand. You get students who finish university together, and by and large, girls are doing much better than men in many respects and many fields. The person who's doing the hiring, how is it that in his mind he's able to put an offer that's 20% less to the female than to the male? How does he rationalize that? And I say he because I can't believe that women would do that, or maybe I'm wrong.
Yes, I think you are wrong in the sense that the policies of organizations sometimes have got this inequality embedded. You have a young girl who finishes law school, same as the young boy. The young boy is 10 times more to get articles because it is felt they will be able to work after hours. They will be able to work late. They will be able to come to work anytime and be in the office and be safe. Instead of saying, how can we make our office buildings safer for girls, young girls, women, etc., to come in after hours or even stay longer? It's looked at what can we do to get more without spending. Secondly, you get a young lawyer, again, taking that example, to do articles. First thing you get told, we hope you're not going to be pregnant, as though pregnancy is a disease, whereas it is part of nature, where the young man never gets told, we hope you're not going to get anybody pregnant so that you can, and then the next thing you'll be asking to take care of your children. So it's those kinds of things. In fact, there was a victory where the issue of people getting articles because they have a car was cancelled and was declared to be unconstitutional and unlawful. So those are some of the things that we have got to watch out for and always talk about them and stand up against them. So at every stage, you have engineers. Young girls finish engineering same time as young men, and companies tend to grab the young men much more because they say you'll be traveling a lot, you'll be standing on bridges, you'll be doing this, you'll be doing that. We don't want the added burden. They see it as burden instead of saying, how do we enable this woman to have outputs that are optimal to their ability?
Yeah, and there's always this challenge as well. Women that perhaps withdraw from work for a period to nurture young children, and then when they re-enter, they're treated almost as if they're novices. And I just, again, want to understand why that is.
In fact, it is said that a woman who finishes college, same as a young man, will be 4 years behind the young men at any stage of their careers. Finishing same university, going to the same employer, doing the same work, the young woman will always be 4 years behind because of that maternity leave that the employer frowns upon instead of facilitating. The issue of can you work late or no, I don't want you to work late, I will be left with guilt if anything happens to you, therefore you're not given a certain assignments. And all of those opportunities that come with the job, the young man is always pushed forward. So at the end of the day, the young men will automatically get a better job if they leave that job, will get a promotion sooner, will get a better salary as a result of that. And, all of those things build up to leaving women behind. And this is where we are supposed to be coming in as the CGE, as other government departments, to say, what are you doing about this? How are you doing these things? How are you sorting them out? Show us your statistics. Show us the disparities that are there. Why do you have disparities?
Nthabiseng, we'll have to leave it there. We could talk about this for hours, but we certainly should have these conversations more frequently. But thanks for joining us this evening.
Okay. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. All right, that's one of the commissioners at the Commission for Gender Equality, Advocate Nthabiseng Sepanya-Mogale, speaking to us about the challenge of gender inequality in society, and that's discrimination just because a woman is a woman, and it's not good enough. And as men, we've got to do better.